In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you a technique that can completely change your life. It's going to combine the power of two different ideologies together so that you're able to really create something very powerful in your life in relatively a short amount of time. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now, on this video, I'm going to be sharing with you it's a technique that I think can completely change your life. Now, this has to do with understanding the power of something that many of you probably heard of, which is Abraham Hicks and the 17-second rule, which has to do with a way of thinking about something that you want to experience in your life for 17 seconds, and that when you focus on something for a certain amount of time, it starts to build momentum and you start to create more and more synchronicity in your life and you start to get the results that you want. Now, that has to do with understanding also that if you do that 17 seconds for 4 times, I think it's like 68 seconds, and what that does is that creates even more of a ripple of that into your life. Now, what we're going to be doing is combining that ideology with Reality Transurfing, which is the techniques and which is the process I've been sharing with you guys recently, that I've had so many people tell me it's changed their life. So many people send me pictures of the books that they got and how they're reading it and how it's completely changed the way they see the world and how they're starting to really get what they want in life. So what I want to do is share a little bit of Reality Transurfing, showing how we can use the techniques and the processes in this book with that of Abraham Hicks and the 17-second rule, and how that can really profoundly change your life. Now, Reality Transurfing, for those of you that don't know, is a powerful manifestation process that was originally written in Russia by a quantum physicist named Vadim Zeland. He wrote the book. Now the book is being translated to a whole bunch of different languages, and it's starting to become much more well known. Now, part of my intention is to bring this to you guys and to help you understand how you can apply it as well, because I was originally recommended it by a friend. He said, hey, read this book, or he said, you haven't read it. You were surprised I haven't read it. I read the book and I was like, wow, this is powerful. Well, what I did is then I applied it in my life and I was like, whoa, things are happening more easily than ever. And especially certain principles that I'm about to share with you, just to kind of summarize and give context for what Reality Transurfing is. Now, Reality Transurfing is a philosophy, a way for seeing the world that when you start to apply it, will change the dynamics of how you use your energy and how you show up in the world. Now, it has to do with this understanding. There are an infinite number of parallel realities that exist. Now, I've talked about this before, and it has to do with understanding that any potentiality, anything you can imagine, that exists right now, it's simply vibrating at a different frequency. You just can't perceive of it because you're not embodying that version of you. That's not how you think, how you feel, how you act, and because of that, there is a distance from that perception of you to the ideal one that you have. Now, the idea is that in order to experience the parallel reality that you prefer, what you can do is you can start to set intentions. Intentions are one of the most powerful things that you can do, because when you set intentions, you give a direction for the focus that you have, and then you start to perceive of those parallel realities that will link you to the ones that you want to experience. Think of it like this as well. There are an infinite number of parallel realities that exist. When I move my hand like this, it looks like one fluid motion, but in reality, it's a different parallel reality with every second. Every time I'm going like this, I am shifting through the different ones, even if it's just difference with a little tiny millisecond and little minute differences. Think of it like a film projection. If you have a film strip and you were to stretch it out, you would see those individual frames, but when it goes fast through the projector, it looks like one fluid movement. Well, every individual frame, metaphorically speaking, is that of a different parallel reality. So, what this means is that you can imagine the best possible case scenario for what you want to experience and set intentions that that is your experience. Set intentions for that to happen. Imagine what you'd be doing. Imagine how you'd be acting. And then what you do is you pay attention to this understanding of what is called pendulums. Now, pendulums are thought structures. Our thoughts have an electromagnetic reality even if we can't see them. So what happens is we're co-creating our life experience with that of other people in the world. And what happens is when many of us have similar thoughts about things, we create beliefs that have thought structures, and those thought structures will continue to run themselves out. So sometimes we may think, I'm having my own thoughts, when in reality, we're having the thoughts of the pendulum. The pendulum is an overarching thought structure of many people thinking the same thing. So This could be an example of you are Republican or Democrat. You think that you're feeling a certain emotion, a certain trigger when people say something, but in reality, that could just be the pendulum of other people who also think the same thing, and it's just you're getting caught into those thought loops. You're getting caught into those are hooking you in a way because you are reacting in a similar way as to other people. And it's kind of also all done subconsciously. So the key is to become aware of when you're falling into that social conditioning, of when you're falling into that, because then you can take your power back. If it's subconscious, you're just continuing to give your power away and hook into thoughts that aren't yours. So sports teams, anytime there's any belief about being a certain culture or being any specific type of way, that is the thoughts of pendulums. So being aware of this means we automatically take our power back. And the other part I want to talk about is understanding importance. This is the one that's changed most people's life that say they benefited from reality transurfing, that's watched my videos. I get all the time, decreasing importance changes everything. This is the idea. The idea is that anytime you desire something, what you immediately do is you're saying in the present moment that that is over there and I want that. And if you're saying I desire, it means I don't already have that because I want that. So what we must do is start to more so embody the emotions and not give things what are called excess meaning. Now what this means is that when you put something on a pedestal that you want really, really badly, what you do is you immediately distance yourself from it and you start to create resistance. So think about this. If it's like someone you're trying to attract, you may say, I really want that person, I really like that person. So what you do is you put them on a pedestal and then you start to create resistance, because then you're like, oh, I have to act a certain way around them. It's really important how they perceive of me. And then they start to feel that resistance, and then either they don't become attracted to you, or they just circumstances come to where that doesn't happen. Metaphorically speaking, there are balancing factors that come into play that will balance out that energy. So anything you give excess meaning, you make more important than it has to be, will be balanced out and neutralized. So instead, see it as natural for you to experience those. Know it's part of your natural process for you to achieve your goals. That's what I've done. That's what I've done with growing YouTube. That's what I've done with doing, like, going to speak. Like, I just got back from California. I did a workshop with over 50 people with me and one of my YouTuber buddies. And it's like, it's just natural for me. That's the way I view it. And because of that, it made it much easier. If I would have gone into that speech that, I gave an hour-long talk. It was my first talk ever. And if I would have gone into it thinking this is so important, this is so important, this is so important, I would have locked up. And even the first 5 minutes, I caught myself in my mind going back and forth because I almost kind of went on a tangent and was going to forget what I was supposed to say, and it would have been very awkward. But I eventually grappled back because I was like, let go of importance. Let go of importance. And then, guess what? I just flowed. And then I got into a flow state that I've never felt before, and I felt better than ever sharing that information. Literally, when I went home, I got done at 11 o'clock that day. It was from 7 to 11:30. It lasted 4 hours. I went back to the hotel room, and I couldn't sleep. I felt so good. So I think that it was just, I didn't make it important. I just allowed the process to be. And as I did that, something else just was very powerful that was kind of like flowing through me. So that's the idea. Now, what is this technique that I'm going to be sharing with you? Well, understand first off, the most powerful part of understanding reality transurfing is setting intentions. And setting intentions, which means you have a certain direction of an outcome, a certain direction or a will to have something in a way. So it's like you're setting direction. Intention is like you are expecting to have something happen of what you're focused on. Now, the idea is that desire is not powerful in and of itself. So if I have a desire to put up my hand right now, it does absolutely nothing until that desire is transmuted into that of intention. And then I take the action and I do it. So it's about understanding that that's where the power is. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the action, but it has to be the energy within it that you are expecting something to happen. So this is what you do for the technique. Now, what you do is, combining these two, you're going to create something called a slide. Now, this is a slide in reality transurfing. This is a very powerful technique. What you do is you imagine as if you're looking through your own eyes one representation of something you want to experience in your life. So I've explained this many times, but my slide is normally that I'm in front of a large group of people that love what I have to say, and I'm not imagining it like I'm watching a movie, like I'm on stage and there's the crowd. I'm imagining it like I'm looking through my own eyes. I imagine that people love what I say, that I'm enjoying the experience of talking and communicating ideas with them, that people are having they're starting to change their life in powerful ways and starting to rewire the way they see the world, and that there's a whole bunch of positivity coming out of that. Then I might imagine after that I'm going to an amazing restaurant, I'm meeting up with people that I enjoy being around, and I'm just enjoying traveling the world. That's one snapshot of what I want to experience in my life. And that's my slide. So ask yourself the question, what is one thing that represents the ideal reality you want to experience? Now, the part that's important here is with reality transurfing, don't make it about the money specifically, because money is a byproduct of you doing your passion, and money is a byproduct of getting and giving value to other people. So instead, show and think of the actual thing you'd be passionate about doing with the money, and that will help you connect more so to your heart. You see, your heart can't really connect to that of just the idea of the money, because the money is something our head understands, because we give the meaning of money as freedom and security, whereas the heart connects to more of the emotion. So think of even just the emotion of what the money would bring you, but the passion more so of what you could be focused on. So what I did is I focused on that and think of what that outcome could be, and then what you do is what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're feeling it from your heart. This is a powerful part of reality transurfing. Focus on your heart area, focus on that slide as if you're looking through your own eyes, and what you want to do is for 17 to 20 seconds, you want to feel this as powerfully as you can and set the intention beforehand that this is a powerful process. So it's almost like you're setting an intention to set the intention, but set a powerful intention and realize that when you're looking at this, it is completely normal for you to be experiencing what you are seeing in that slide. It is completely normal, and there's no excess meaning here. Don't make it more important than it has to be. When you're seeing yourself doing this, realize that it is natural for you to be experiencing that. It is natural for me to be speaking in front of a crowd because it's just a part of who I am. It's natural for me to be making a daily video on YouTube because that's just who I am. That's the way I view it, and that's how you can view it too. The key to this is normally with the idea of the 17 seconds of Abraham Hicks, it's about generating the emotion, which is very powerful. But with reality transurfing, you're setting more of a pure intention that is void of any excess meaning, of anything being put on a pedestal. You see it more as natural. You're still feeling within your heart, but the key to this is to just see it as natural for you to be experiencing what you want, because as you focus on that being natural, it's becoming more and more something that's wired within you, and there's no excess meaning there, there's no excess potential that's being created, which then calls for there to be a balance of that, which means it's almost we create resistance. So what we're doing here is we're combining these two ideologies that's helping us to reduce the resistance we might feel with the normal way of going about the 17-second rule with Abraham Hicks. So begin to see this as natural for you to be able to decrease your level of importance. And if you want help with this whole process, I've created a free meditation that's on specifically reality transurfing and decreasing importance. It will help you to create that slide. It will help you to wire in the ideas of reality transurfing in a very powerful way. You can download that in the top of the description box below, and it will help you to do that. And just to recap, what you want to do is you want to focus on the ideal reality of what you want to experience. You want to create a snapshot of that. One idea, one visualization that represents that whole entire manifestation happening as if you're looking through your own eyes. And what you want to then do is you want to feel it as if it's natural for you to be experiencing that. Make sure you connect it to your heart. Make sure the visualization itself is something you can passionately feel. And as you focus on that, what you do is you do that for a minimum of 17 to 20 seconds, and preferably do that slide, do that whole process 4 or 5 times a day. If you can do that, what you are doing is you're focusing on the potentiality of that parallel reality which exists right now, just vibrating at a different frequency. And what you do is you start to bring that more so into your life so that you experience it in a very powerful way. So that's what I recommend you do, and it's something I've been doing. I've been kind of recently been bridging these ideas together, and I think that when we bridge them together, we get the power of both, and maybe even amplified. So do this for 4 or 5 times a day. Do this for I'd say at least 3 weeks to 4 weeks and see how it works. I think that with repetition, you start to reprogram your subconscious mind. You'll start to see yourself in a different way. You will literally start to become that version of you. And as you embody it, you will start to see a new reflection in your life. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you guys liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next vid. Peace, much love, and namaste.